Hey, Treasure History! Today's essential question is who was William Shakespeare? You're already familiar with Shakespeare as the playwright of the drama you're reading in English class, which is Romeo and Juliet. But on Friday, we learned about the Protestant Reformation. Which of the following innovations most helped the Reformation happen? Good, and check off all the people who formed different Protestant branches of Christianity. All right, today we're going to learn about William Shakespeare, a poet and playwright from the Renaissance era. He's called the most popular playwright in the world because his plays have been acted out more times than any other playwright in history. So knowing about him will give you great background knowledge as you read Romeo and Juliet in English class, and also you'll read others of his plays when you get to high school. So as we read, make sure you annotate. That is a quarter of your practice grade for today. Who was William Shakespeare? William Shakespeare is one of the world's greatest writers. He wrote plays for the theater. He wrote poetry too. Shakespeare was born in Stratford-upon-Avon in the European country of England. This was the house where he was born. It's still built today, so you can go take a tour of it. Later, he moved to London, which is the capital city of the country of England, so that he could be an actor. But he became more famous for writing his plays. His friends said he was the best writer of their time, but most people now say he was the best writer of all time. So why is Shakespeare so famous? Shakespeare lived more than 400 years ago during the Renaissance, but people still go to see his plays. Shakespeare plays are performed all over the world. Students study Shakespeare in school and also when they get to college. People write books about Shakespeare. There are Shakespeare theaters and Shakespeare festivals. And here in New Orleans, you can even see Shakespearean plays performed outside at City Park. Go ahead and summarize the two paragraphs that we just read about how famous Shakespeare is. All right, if you're hearing this, you should be done with your first annotation. Remember, you need that to get your grade for today. Let's read about Shakespeare's plays. Shakespeare wrote comedies, which are stories with a happy ending. These plays often have people falling in love, wearing disguises, and generally getting mixed up. They're supposed to be funny. It doesn't mean that nothing bad can happen in a comedy. Bad things and conflicts do happen, but usually the conflicts are solved with a happy ending in a comedy. For example, A Midsummer Night's Dream, this is that play being performed in City Park here in New Orleans. That's a comedy with fairies and humans. But Shakespeare also wrote tragedies. Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy because the young lovers, Romeo and Juliet, both died, along with almost everyone else in the play. Shakespeare's history plays are about real people, such as Julius Caesar, the Roman general, or the English kings Henry V and Richard III. Shakespeare's theater. Shakespeare was a member of a company of actors called the Lord Chamberlain's Men. In 1598, they built a new theater. It was round, as you can see in this picture, so they called it the Globe. The Globe was open to the sky, as you can see. A flag was raised up to show when a play was about to begin. Plays began at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. In Shakespeare's time, there were no women actors. Women's parts were played by boys. For a time, child actors were more popular than adult actors. Actors wore the clothes of the day with wigs and makeup. Shakespeare didn't usually act in his own plays, but he is said to have played the ghost in his play Hamlet. So what were theaters like back then? Well, some people stood in front of the stage. That cost 1 penny to stand there like that. Other people had seats, as you can see. That cost 3 pennies. Rich men paid 12 pennies to sit up on the stage. The audience shouted and clapped, laughed and booed like they do today. Over top of the stage was a roof to keep off the rain. Actors could also be lowered from the roof on wires to get down to the stage. There was also a trap door in the stage too, so that actors could pop up and surprise the audience. By the way, if you came down from the roof, your character was said to have been coming down from heaven, such as an angel. But if you came up from the trapdoor under the stage, your character was supposed to be coming up from hell, like a ghost or a demon. Plays had exciting special effects. There were ghosts, witches, loud bangs, flames and smoke, drums, even cannons. In 1613, during Shakespeare's play Henry VIII, sadly a cannon set fire to the straw in the roof, and the Globe Theatre burned down. Go ahead and pause and summarize this section that you just read by answering this question. What types of special effects did the Globe Theatre use to bring the plays to life? Press pause to answer that question. Good. If you're hearing this, you should be done answering that question. Some ways the Globe Theatre brought the plays to life was through the use of the trapdoors, or lowering the actors down from the roof, or using the cannons and the drums and the smoke and flames to make things more exciting. All right, last paragraph, the new Globe. The modern Globe Theatre in London is a replica of Shakespeare's Globe. People can watch plays just as people did in Shakespeare's time. The new Globe opened in 1997. The first play was Henry V, just as when the first Globe opened in 1599. All right, now you know a little bit about who William Shakespeare was and how he put on his plays. During practice, you'll find out more about his life and his family and when he was young, that sort of thing. Right now, you're going to push 4.0 until it's time for us to do ELA practice.